Alright, we have a very big video today, one that you guys can get involved in too. Those of you that have followed me for a couple years now will know that back in the day when I was running my podcast on YouTube, before every season we had two videos. One was investing in one player from every team in the Premier League, and the other, the complete opposite. One player to sell your stocks in who you think will have a terrible or a worse season than last year. It was very funny because at the end of the year we'd go back, we'd look and see who had stinkers, who became rich like they were investing in Bitcoin in 2013. It's just a whole fun vibe overall. So I'm going to give you my player from every team. You guys in the comments as well, make sure you put yours. And don't let me see no edited. I want you to put one player from each team. Very straightforward. And don't just pick the best player possible at their team. Sometimes you may have no choice, I hear it. But if you can, try to be a bit niche with them. Because obviously some teams, it is a bit difficult. But as per usual, we're going to go in alphabetical order. Without further ado, let's get cracking. Make sure you've liked, make sure you subscribe so you can come back and laugh at me in May when these are all wrong. We're going to go to Arsenal. And funnily enough, obviously we're going in alphabetical order. The player I've got in mind for Arsenal isn't even on Transfermarkt. It's a player who has just shown up during pre-season for you guys. For others, we've been saying it for over a year. Max Dowman, your watch is real. I saw this guy playing for England. I don't even know what age group it was. It may have been under 18 and the guy was 14. I said, hey, this is not normal. Because he was moving with the silkiness. And remember, at that point, that's Odegaard when he was very good, by the way. Don't think of the last season Odegaard. I'm thinking of Odegaard at his best. But with the running power of Emil Smith-Rowe when he broke through, 20 times. I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm going to be investing in him. I believe, well, I can't really give you like a value or anything. So let's say, given that he's 15 years old, he's not made his like official debut yet. I reckon my bold statement will be that he will score a professional goal this season. He might not even play and I look stupid in it, I don't know, but I feel like he's good enough to get minutes, whether that be in the Carabao or something like that. Up next we got Aston Villa. This one's a little bit tricky because I got two names in mind. Both of them you could, I suppose, class as midfielders. One of them maybe is a better stock investment than the other, because someone that I really love at Aston Villa right now is Morgan Rogers, obviously the originator of the cold celebration. However, his stocks are extremely high, so if I invest in him, it's like there's little margins for return, if you know what I mean. I believe he can go to a top 4 team and honestly be a starter. But I'll go with another 23-year-old midfielder because, as I said, his stocks are super high. But someone whose stocks kind of dipped last season, Amadou Onana. I still believe had he got his move to either United or Arsenal, we'd be talking about him in a very different light. And we'd definitely be talking about United in a very different light and not as a team who just finished 15th. Again, injuries and whatnot, it took him a while, but I think there's a serious player in there. I don't think he's just like a massive unit. He's very, techie on the ball as well. Intelligent player. I like him a lot. I'm hoping that this season he stamps down a starting spot for Villa. Up next we have Bournemouth. They're cherries. This one. There are some nice forwards here. I can't lie. They've lost defenders, so they may struggle a little bit this season. But going forward, I like all of them. As you know, Evan Nilsson, I was there scouting him. I went to watch Porto versus Shakhtar in the Champions League. I had my little notepad out. I put a little video on the screen for those who maybe you don't believe me. But I think his stocks are high now, so I'm going to keep my Evan Nilsson investments, but I'm not going to actually invest further because everyone knows that he's cold now. He should be bagging. The player that I've got in mind is unfortunately injured for the next 2 months, so it might backfire on me. But Unai, in the past couple seasons, he's bagging like 2 or 3 goals. I believe, having watched him for Bournemouth actually playing and before Bournemouth or in La Liga, I think there's a player in there. So he's worth what, 10 million? He bags a couple goals a season. I think if he can, get back. What injury is it? That's a tricky one now, I can't lie. Maybe I'm going to change to like a Ouattara or something, or a Amenyah. But no, I'm going to back Unai. Look, even if he doubles his goals to 4 this season, my stocks have gone up, right? So I'm going to go triple. How about that? I'm going to go against 6 goals this season. Let's see how the return from injury goes though. Next up we go to Brentford. Team used to go to the G-Tech and get G-checked, but now with no Mbuemo, with Wissa trying to get out, it's going to be a very tough one. And so I look at the other end of the pitch because they've got 2 players, one of whom they've just signed, that I'm looking at, and both of them happen to be Irish. Kelleher, when Alisson was out, although I say he's the best keeper in the league, they didn't really miss him that much because Kelleher had a nice spell there where he was saving Liverpool on many occasions. So I think being a #1 choice now would be very good for him. But I also like Nathan Collins, and I think I invested in him on my pod like 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. His stocks fell a little bit, I'll be honest. Like it wasn't going too well for him, but I think right now might be the best time to invest, because by the end of the season, I'm hoping, I'm a Collins believer. I think they're gonna need to be good defensively because, you know, in attack they've lost a lot of firepower. Big up Kelleher, but I'm gonna go Nathan Collins. We move on then to Brighton. Now look, hands in the air. You know, maybe I've cheated a little bit on this one because I know that at any moment they're gonna spawn in some random guy from Paraguay or Chile or Ecuador, or they might even go to Asia and find some players, and then they're gonna ball out. However, for me personally, it doesn't make sense to go for anyone other than Carlos Baleba, currently valued at 40 million. When it's time to leave, we know what Tony Bloom's on. That price tag is looking like at least double. He's only 21, and I think, if you want me to be more bold about it, I think he will be in the Caicedo convos as like, ooh, by the end of the year, who's better? You might know I'm a super Caicedo fan, but Baleba as well, I'm a massive fan, bro. I'm a massive fan, and I want to see him at a Champions League club. And look, they got other guys that I rate. Hinshelwood, I think, is really good for a 20-year-old. I've seen him play in real life now, about 5 different positions, from right back to right mid, centre mid. He's everywhere, so I like him a lot. But Baleba, this is one where I'm going to cheat, and I'm probably going to pick their best player, but I think his value will double by the end of next season. The next team, Burnley, look, I struggled a little bit. I can't lie to you. I'm an honest guy. Last time they were here, they weren't really moving us. Let's keep it 100. And most of these players, I'm not familiar with them. Obviously, I think I invested in Amdouni last time. Didn't really offer us that much. They were gassing up Benson as well last time. Again, nothing really happened. Look, this one is a bit of a throwaway one, but I'm going to go Koleosho because last time, you know, what was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever it was now, he had a couple bright moments. He wasn't like a bagsman, he wasn't getting bare assists, but he looked good at football. I guess, yeah, big up Koleosho, I've gone with you. Now we get on to a serious one. We got, no, Burnley, you man are also serious, but like, you know, let's be a bit respectful. We get to Chelsea. Many names available here because obviously they've been doing their thing of, we're going to buy every single under 23 in the whole world and hope for the best. So, you know, if you scroll through, you see the names, either new signings, guys coming back from loan, guys going out on loan. A lot to pick from. I'm a big fan of Gittins, I'll be honest. I think he's being slept on as a transfer. But guys, as someone that was a lead investor in this player before Chelsea fans even knew who he existed, I got to pick Esteval. Nearly 3 years ago, Esteval, we are next up. As you can tell, there's a bit of a theme. Me and Palmeiras players, look, when I'm editing, I'll be sitting there watching Brazilian League, and it was Endrick the first time, it was Esteval this time. Fabrizio had never even tweeted about this guy before when I was talking about Esteval. That's how long I've been there. So when people come and say like, oh, why are you not gassing this guy? Why are you not gassing this guy? I've been an Esteval fan since before you knew Esteval existed. People said his Club World Cup was kind of meaty, although obviously there were Chelsea fans that were voting him for man of the match, you know, every single time. I think he was alright. He wasn't like anything incredible, but I think his skill set will really translate well to the Premier League. He's not like electric in terms of, you know, for the FIFA guy, 99 speed or whatever, but decision making, ball striking, and what I like is wingers that just relentlessly take on their man as well. It may work sometimes, it may not work other times, but he has everything for me. And just for further evidence, in case he required it, I can always give you guys an excerpt from the pod just to make sure. From when was this? January 2023. Next up, save this interview for Esteval and Danilo. But anyway, Esteval, again, obviously he has come for big money, but it was signed a year ago, I suppose. I'm saying he locks down a starting spot at Chelsea. You might think, whoa, what's that? But bro, that's a bold take. Given how much rotation Chelsea do, and they just chuck guys in and out, and they go to Strasbourg, or rather, he should be starting for Chelsea, and maybe even, you know, knocking on the door for Brazil, who have Rafinha, Rodrigo, Vini, a lot of names there. He could be knocking, is all I'm saying. We go to Palace, and there's another one that is a bit personal to me. If you watched my video yesterday, you'll have seen as well. This is a 21-year-old who's currently valued at 6 million. Justin Deveni. People have seen the penalty yesterday in the Community Shield, sorry, the Supercopa, the Anglais final, where he wrapped it top bins and thought, oh, do you know what? Who's this geezer? With no fear at all. Obviously, again, those who follow me for a while, you know I did the shoot with Crystal Palace after the FA Cup win. It was Deveni, it was Roman Esse, and it was Caleb Kapoha. And this Deveni guy, his technique, I'm telling you, it don't make sense. He kicks ball like he's an experienced 28, 29-year-old. So I'm hoping, especially given the fact that they're going to be playing, obviously, Conference League. Unfortunately for them, they had the CAS ruling today. They're not going to play Europa League. I'm hoping that he gets minutes because he's a phenomenal baller. I hope he can break into the first team as well. Him and Wharton, the IQ of that midfield there is off the chart, so I hope he can make it. He's tripling that value. 6 million. He will be 18 by the end of the season. I believe in Deveni. We go to Everton. I keep on saying it, but if you follow me for a while, you will know about who I'm going to say here. Because as much as I love Ndiaye, I think he's incredible. I think he can go to a top 5 team. His stocks are already as high as they can be. In terms of like current Everton levels, everyone knows it's going to be him next season. And I've not done my predictions video yet. It'll be coming out Thursday, just for your information, for the league table and top scorer and underachievers, blah, 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 blah. Everton, I'm intrigued by. And one of the reasons for that is because of my mate, Tieno Barry. Now, he's not my mate. I don't know him like the other guys. I call him my mate because I just liked how he played when I watched him for Villarreal last season. Him and Nicolas Pepe had some crazy link-up. And I said, hold on a minute. You know, sometimes as a player, yeah, you just need to watch them one time and you're already moved. I don't know if you guys have had the same thing as me before, but some strikers, give me 45 minutes. I've seen it. Tieno Barry should hopefully light it up for Everton. I had him in my Team of the Week video some point last season when nobody knew who he was again. Now he's in the Premier League, so I'm happy for him. Fulham, there's not a lot looking about there, I can't lie to you. But I'm going to go with the guy I always go with, Calvin Bassey. Because when he was kicking ball for Rangers and then Ajax and whatnot, they were telling me that I'm an idiot for investing in him because he was one of the worst Ajax players ever. I said, nah. You guys, you don't get it. He came to Fulham. I told you he'll be one of the top 10 centre-backs in the league. It was a very bold statement, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't think it's that crazy anymore, you know. If you're making a top 10 centre-backs list, yeah, look, it's still a bit of a push, but I really, really like him, and I hope this year he'll be regarded as cool. You are a top 10 Premier League centre-back. Now, the next team, Leeds, I struggled. This one was basically, I'll tell you the name first and foremost. I've gone with Anton Stack. What can I tell you about him? Absolutely nothing. Let me tell you what's happened here. This is basically a scenario, right? Imagine you're walking down the street, you're going to go and get a little shape up or a haircut, whatever you get. And another barbershop, there's someone outside there standing there saying, yo, come. And you know deep down, that means you're a terrible barber. Because if you have to stand outside asking guys to enter the shop, they're not it. It's the same for like the gambling thing and the betting shop. If they're standing outside, you're thinking, But the local Leeds fans, or the nitties if you will, are telling me, yo, Anton Stack, invest. I'm saying, bro, I don't have any money. But they're telling me invest in him. So at this point, I'm willing to put some money on Anton Stack. Let's see how he does. But if I lose all my money, Leeds fans, I'm coming for you. Up next, we got Liverpool. This one's really easy. Is he even on transfer marks yet? He's not. But again, pre-season, Rio Ngumoa, another one whose watch is completely real. I made a video on YouTube a couple weeks ago when I finally watched him. I've been quite late to the party on that one, evidently, but he's incredible. He might go on loan, innit? I don't know, but I'm hoping if he does stay at Liverpool, he gets a couple starts in the Carabao, a few Premier League sub-appearances. Again, maybe he gets his first professional goal too, like I said, from Max Dowman. At Man City, there are a plethora of names to choose from because they had obviously a terrible season last year. And one of the players, I'll tell you my 3 names that I got in mind. First and foremost, my good mate. I can call him my good mate because I met him and, you know, we're doing little pics and that. Rayan Cherki. I think he'll be incredible to watch. Another one who always delivers is Tijani, the red-nosed reindeer. I think he'll be incredible. But again, his stocks, can you really invest stocks in him when he was probably first or second best midfielder in Serie A last season? So I'm not going to invest in him, but I believe he will have a really good season and transform the City midfield. And the other name is Oscar Bob. Now, we're getting news coming out today that Savinho might be going on loan to Spurs or permanent transfer. I don't know. So I'm hoping Oscar Bob gets the minutes this season. So it's basically between him and Rayan Cherki. Obviously, Cherki is maybe more valued right now than Oscar Bob. In fact, he's younger than Oscar Bob as well. You know what? In that case, I've got to invest my stocks in Cherki because many people are saying he might just be, you know, a training ground skill merchant who can do 7 kick-ups with like an apple or something, but put him on the pitch and he's lazy and whatever tired narrative. So you know what, Oscar Bob, big up your thing, but I'm going to go Ryan Shirky. I hope he's a starter because he is better than Philip Walter Foden. And from a plethora of choices to scraping the bottom of the barrel, who on earth do you invest in at Manchester United? I think Lenny Euros had a really good pre-season, but his stocks are already really high. I've always liked Ahmad from when they were hating on him and they were saying that, you know, Garnacho's better than him and stuff like that. I guess I'm gonna have to go with Chido Obi Martin. 5 million value right now. It's a nice little investment there. He's still, you know, performing at the under 18s level, I think I want to say. Maybe there's a scenario where Sesko doesn't work out and Chido starts getting a couple, you know, maybe sub appearances, and then he might get a start here and there. He can get a calm 3 professional goals. Newcastle, this one is reminding me of the episode of SpongeBob, yeah, where him and Patrick are just stinking and everyone's running away. They don't want to go anywhere near him. That's been Newcastle this summer, unfortunately for them. But one man that I've not forgotten about, Lewis Miley, 19 years old, down to 22 million in value, again in euros. So that's what, 18 million pounds, 19 million pounds. That Champions League campaign, Lewis Miley, I haven't forgotten. I still believe there's a player in there. Obviously, he had a large injury last season. They are stacked in midfield, right? They've got Tonali, they've got Joe Linton, they've got Bruno Guimaraes, but Lewis Miley, he can still make it there. Come back at the end of the season. Last 5 teams, we go to Nottingham Forest, and because of how well they did last year, it is hard to invest stocks. Because obviously, realistically, they're only going to go down. And looking at the players, I'm not really moved by anyone in terms of their value going up. So, I'm going to be investing my stocks in Mr. Marinakis. Thank you, Mr. Marinakis. This guy is coming like when the Greek Mafia pulled up in New York back in the 1980s. For those of us who remember. You say anything bad about him, you're banned. So Mr. Marinakis, you're great. Please don't get my channel taken down. Big up your team. We now go to Sunderland, who have made many moves and signed a lot of youngsters there as well. The only problem for me, I'll be honest, I've not watched a lot of them. So I've heard really good things about a couple of them. I've heard Talby's class, but again, I can't really invest. So someone that I will invest, Simon Adingra. I haven't forgotten his AFCON performances when Ivory Coast won it in the previous season. So I'm just going to invest in him. I hope that he can get back a starting place and really kick on a little bit. We go to Top Spurs. And this one's easy. As a Ghanaian, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to go with Kudus. Many people were laughing at the price tag for Kudus because they were saying, oh, he scored like a couple goals for West Ham last season. He throws his toes at the prime, bad mentality, one season merchant. I disagree with that completely. I think he will revitalize that Spurs attack. Obviously, Son's gone to LA. They're lacking that kind of star power. They're talking about Savinho on loan, which again might change things a little bit. I don't know, but Mo Kudus, for me, one of their best players next season. I hope he can grab some nice goals, some nice assists as well. And it's a World Cup year, so Ghana, I will hopes lie with Mo Kudus. Final couple teams, we go to West Ham. Again, not their best season, but they have signed someone very promising. If you watched that game, England-Senegal, a couple months ago, you will know about El Hadj Malik Diouf. That is who I'm going to be investing in this season. 20 years old, 18 million value right now. I can see doubling by next season. Don't sleep on Kyle Walker-Peters though, because he's a very versatile guy that can play left back, right back to a decent level. I'm surprised that he didn't get a move from Southampton a couple years earlier. And lastly, we go to Wolves. I have 2 names in mind here at 2 other ends of the pitch. I think those of us who watch Club World Cup, if you were up till 2 a.m, the real football fans like myself, you will have seen John Arias of Fluminense. Very nice player, scored some clutch goals for them. But I think maybe I'm not going to invest in him only because there's one guy I want to invest in more, and that is Emmanuel Agbadu. I only found out about him last season. I think more eyes need to be on him. I sat there thinking, yo, this guy, for a centre-back, he's tall, he's quick, he's agile, he's strong, good in the air. I said, hold on a minute. How is this guy chilling at Wolves and only, by the looks of things here, around 20 million? I think he's a great centre-back. But again, if Wolves have a bad season, look, you never know. Maybe we're relying too much on Strand Larson. Maybe he got injured again. I don't know what's going to happen. But as per usual, hopefully you enjoyed this list. It should be very funny come May time to see, or June, whether or not we're right. Put your predictions for all 20 teams or just the top 5 teams if you want to, whatever teams you want to put. Invest your stocks. Try not to just pick the best player possible. And of course, if you are enjoying the daily videos, do subscribe because we are on that road to 100k by the end of it. Invest in my stocks. If you want to help my stocks go up, let's get to 100k by the end of the season and we can all celebrate and then we all win. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow for the players whose stocks are about to go down in a bit. Bosh.